Our second last game here will be Zero against mine on Neo Jade. Alright, so spawning here top left. Zero. Spawning here top right is mine. And as we're guaranteed 2 more games here, so the winner of this match will be facing against Shuttle on Destination. Is Jade a very interesting map? A lot of influence from the former MSL map Byzantium, where 4 spawn points. A lot of Terrans love to do upper ground wall-offs here, as we see mine doing right now. And we'll see what Zero decides to do here. Whether he goes for 12 pull to try and apply pressure to the wall off, or he just plays it safe and goes for a 12 hatch. And it looks like at this point Zero is planning to go on 12 hatch, so it looks like safe build from both players here, especially from mine, deciding to go for that wall off at the checkpoint. And hatchery here from Zero gets slammed down. There's also drone scouting behind this as well, considering it's a 4-player map. Also, mine does like to do proxy barracks quite a bit, so obviously he's going to scout. Oh, he actually moved his drone. Maybe the AI is glitching on that drone, I'm not too sure. But yeah, the drone's going to go to the bottom right, so I think he saw the scouting SV and thought, hey, that's actually a scouting SV that's scouted earlier than normal. But Zero's not going to see anything, and he's going to bump his head against the wall because he knows that he screwed up there. So we see a third hatchery going down from Zero. No surprises here. And the question now is what tech path mine decides to go for. Will he add more barracks? Will he go for gas with the academy and engineering bay? Will he go for a quick factory followed by a starport? We'll just have to wait and see. And he goes for a second barracks here. So the safest choice out of those previous options that I mentioned allows him to add more marines to his defense, and actually a quick engineering bay here, so it looks like he wants to get that +1 up quite quickly. So Lair just started 4-0. Also the speedling upgrade is probably being researched right now. And looks like Zero's trying to take that expansion gas right now. The timing of that gas suggests that he is probably looking to get to the muted tech. It also helps that for the Terran on Jade, because the Terran army isn't moving up to the high ground, it means that any timing push out, I guess, that mine decides to do, is going to be attacking towards the lower ground rather than the upper ground, which means that any high ground advantage that those lurkers of Zero have will be mute pretty much. There's Engineering Bay, as expected, is upgrading that +1 weapons. Spy here for Zero. And it doesn't seem that Mind is looking to add any more barracks at the moment, so he's pretty happy with these 2 Raxes. Generally, if you get the early +1, you'd want to add more Raxes, not only to help with your first push, but also to help reinforce your defense in the case of Mulus, as we're seeing right here. And now this is a comfortable amount of units from Mind that he wants to push out in. Wow, Zero actually hasn't put down any Sunkens yet. Considering these close spawn positions, Mind might be actually able to kill him here if he's not careful. So see, I thought he'd try and snipe a medic there, but it looks like Zero decides not to do that. Sunken Collies are nearly done here, so we could see +1 tear through this. No, looks like Mind's going to back off here and just decide to use his Marine Medics to control the map. As we see here, a few more barracks added for Mind, taking advantage of the +1 ground weapons for those infantry units. And the first few meters here are out for Zero, so we'll see how much damage these do. There's a lot of Zerglings and Mulus as well, but looks like he's going to try and pick off this army off one by one. Forces him out here from Mind. Looks like those Zerglings aren't high enough in a number they can surround this army with his Mulus and kill it off. Oh, what's Mind doing there? That's a sloppy move there to stop mining with those SCVs. Maybe he was preparing for mass repair on the turret. As Mulus here, 10 in total, gets chased away by these +1 infantry marines. We see Zero pulling some lava there, so I'm not really sure what he's intending to spend that lava on. Let me just recenter this. Okay, that looks good. Trying to pick away this Marine Medic army one by one. And first few Hydralisks are out here for Zero. No doubt they'll be morphed into Lurkers. And looks like Zero's just using his Mulus to delay this army as much as possible so he gets those Lurkers into position and defend from the inevitable Marine Medic army push to deny the third. As looks like Zero is posturing to do a Mulus counterattack. We'll see how much. No, he might be trying to stop these reinforcements, but this reinforcement group might be too much for this Mulus army. And here comes the Lurker eggs. Nice counterattack here to stop the reinforcements of Zero. First Lurker is out. Wait, he actually unburrowed both Lurkers? That's oh no, those Lurkers actually didn't die. And his base looks like it's poised to go down. Oh, these Mulus are very low HP. And didn't kill enough Marines here. These Marine Medics are going to wreak a lot of damage onto his base, and his base is going to go down. So those Lurkers didn't actually get morphine in time. Oh, these Mulus still actually chipping away at these. Oh, gets another one. It's not enough that it's gonna one shot. Okay. Oh, super Marine there. So he barely defends that. But it looks like the second push of mine is going to come out pretty soon here, and he has these tanks as well. That being said, Night Colony is out. File amount consumes only just started though, so it's really thin timing window for mine to kill off that third base. So we see here, Marine Medic tank. He's deciding whether to go for this third base or whether to go for the main base. Looks like he's going to go for the main base here. It doesn't really... he can go for the main base here because he knows that the Nidus Canal is at the expansion. And there's the irradiate on one of the lurkers. And there's only... it's a ticking time bomb here for mine. If he doesn't kill off Zero before the consume comes out, it's going to be a world of hurt for him. Nice counter attack here from Zero. It's going to pick off this tank. It's going to be really useful. It does pick off the rallying Marines coming out of those barracks though, so here comes Stim, but the consume is out. Let's see if he picks off the no, he doesn't pick off the defiler, and now mine has to move back. And nice round here from Zero. Mine has to move back with his army. And looks like these tanks will be sieging up. And he's going to go for another attack here with his Dark Swarm, with his consume spell. Lurker's doing a lot of damage to these siege tanks. And now seeing those consume up, it's going to start transitioning to factory units. And even though Zero's trying to take this base here at the right side, Zergling slightly delays it for a bit. And looks like we're poised for a long game here, unless Zero can do something about this expansion being taken. So this command center is being built here at the right side of the map. It's going to start mining up and around that base as you help defend it. And actually it looks like mine's still gonna produce units from those barracks. He's not gonna lift them up. Most important thing is keeping those vessels alive though for irradiate. Irradiate is what's gonna keep him in the game until he has enough factories to produce from. And finally that base is completed for mines, and now it looks like it's gonna try and take over the right side of the map right now. Crazy mine there. It's really funny seeing Vulture Spider Mines bug out. And looks like Mind is thinking of going for this base, but the consume Dark Swarm gets casted. The Filer's gonna die, and he has to back away here. But he's using this opportunity here to take that bottom right expansion. Get his upgrades up, get those factories up, and completely transition to Mac. Vulture's actually trying to run by, and actually Vulture's actually get in. Had some spider mines though, but I don't think that's useful. He needs to go for drones here. Nice hit there with the spider mine. Whoa, a couple of nice hits with the spider mines. I don't know why he's not moving those drones inside of the Nidus Canal though. And it looks like actually mine's gonna go for using that distraction. Oh, the Nidus Canal gets destroyed. This fourth base is definitely gone. I'm not sure if that third base is gonna live as well. Call for Zero is just has no units. Another nice spider mine being placed there. It's gonna... Oh no, the lurker actually takes it out. And these dark storms keeping Zero alive in this game. See here, double upgrades on the ground units from Zero. He definitely wants to go for ultras, but he doesn't really have the gas count right now. Oh, spider mines. Oh, this army's screwed. Plague means that army's going to get wrecked. And I'm not sure Zero has cracklings right now, but he should by this stage of the game. As we see another vulture run by here. Snipes at the drone that was trying to take that base at the expansion. See how many drone kills these vultures can do. Oh, so many units. Eating those lings out. Supply depot blocking the pathway of those mech units, so he takes that out. No big deal for the mine right now. All those zerglings trying to trigger those mines out. And obviously trying to help secure that bottom right base. The best course of action there was to build more factories, mass tanks there. See here, more drones being transferred to that what you normally take as your third base from Zero. And if Zero can actually secure this fifth base here, take that gas, then Zero will be in a nice position to transition. More vulture run bys here from mine. And there's the Dark Swarm. And oh, these drones actually didn't fully transfer away and take some damage from these vultures. Meanwhile here, looks like mine's gonna continue with a another push. He has a lot of tanks here though, so might be really hard for these Hydrals to get a good position in and take it out. A few science vessels are here as well, so whether it be defensive matrix or irradiate, it's going to be really hard for Zero to do anything about it. This spider mine is being planted. Ooh, really close there. And now it looks like mine's trying to position his siege tanks here to take out this fifth base of Zero right below the cliff. It's a really nice position as well because Zero can't really get most surface area as possible to deal with this army of mine. 140 supply for Zero compared to the 180 supply of mine. Mine has a lot of tanks here. Oh, if he picks up that defiler, that's going to be huge. Oh, Queens? Queens? Wow, okay. That's changed the tide of the match. Damn, all those tanks are gone as well. More Queens just bursting onto those tanks. Oh my god. Oh, and the Scourge as well on the vessels, man. This Queens caught everyone by surprise. Now they're just gonna go back home, sit and gather energy. And I was thinking in my head as well, it's like, I mean, Zero had that amount of supplies, but what was all the supply on? And apparently he was hiding Queens the whole time, so cool. But the problem still remains here for Zero is this huge, these siege tanks just sitting at the bottom of the ramp. Another Vulture's run by actually. Can't really do anything about it. There's a Dark Swarm. Actually, this is a flank here from Zero. Let's see how much damage this flank can do. This Crackling's out on the map now for Zero, so Cracklings will pretty much eat through these tanks on this Dark Swarm. Oh, these siege tanks just dealing so much damage onto the expansion of Zero. Very scrappy game here from Zero. He has a lot of minerals. I'm not really sure what he's going to invest him in though. Oh, Plague. Plague on the tanks. Actually, those aren't crack. Pretty sure those aren't crack. They look so slow. Oh, the problem here for Zero is that even though he has a bank, he has no hatcheries with lava. And every wave of units that mine kills, it's really hard for Zero to hold it off. And oh, we see a nice marine medic army here just doing some harassment. And that hatchery's gonna die once again. You see here, siege tanks doing their job. Gonna try and probably hit this bottom left base. And oh my god, there's a lot of mech units here. Once these mech units get 3-3, it's gonna be really hard for Zero to deal with them, especially siege tanks. Siege tanks in siege mode do a lot of damage. And as I mentioned before, looks like Mine here is going to go for the final blow at the bottom left expansions. Oh, but these queens though, these queens are a game changer. We might be able to see all these queens. Actually, does he have EMP? If he EMPs those queens, that might be really good for him, but no. So it looks like those broodlings do kill those siege tanks, but there's small siege tanks here coming out for Mind. And Zero actually breaks through that ramp of those spider mines. I'm not sure if he has enough energy in the queens though to kill all these tanks off. Be cool if you had a plague go off on that lump of units. Drone transferring over to that third base. Remember that the main and expansion of Zero are mined out, so he's effectively working off two bases right now. And once again, nice positioning here from Mind, with those siege tanks able to shell on the army, that expansion of Zero. Looks like Zero is going to go for a surround here. Nice Dark Swarm there, taking some hits from those siege tanks. Also another nice Dark Swarm here with this Lurker. And it might be possible that Zero barely ekes through this. Well, these Scourge though, taking out those vessels though, that's huge. Means no radiate or dark matrix. Defensive matrix from the science vessels. Defensive matrix really useful tool in this case. Irradiate can only do so much in the late game. I think defensive matrix is just more useful. And even though Zero cleaned this up, there's just more units flooding in here from Mind. Look at all these tanks, oh my god. Just all those tanks were just being built at those bottom right base. As you see right now, Zero's just clinging on to dear life here, trying to use his hydralisk to sweep these mines. And now there's just Goliaths coming out. There's just too many sea shanks here. I don't really think Zero can do anything about it. The only best course of action for him would probably be a Plague and a Dark Swarm, and Lurkers just walking into that siege tank line. See a counter attack here. It's not really doing too much, and you can see what I mean by the defensive matrix being better at this point of the game than Irradiate. And now mine's just going to attack, move in. He has to consume. Gets the Dark Swarm off, but it just might be too much splash damage. Oh, these broodlings though. Oh man. And just like in a blinking of an eye, all those siege tanks are gone. But mine's just he's still mining from what, 4 bases compared to the 3 bases of Zero. And when you have a Terran that's mining off 4 bases and going mech, you can just replenish so quickly. Oh, Queen there just flying around. And looks like this hatchery is going to die once again. And Zero will be back to working off 2 bases. Queen there, casting Broodling. But I think he's lost so many queens that he can't really Broodling the majority. Okay. Yeah, Irradiate's there as well. So looks like these queens are going to die. Scan here for vision on top. Thought we might see a Plague there on those tanks, but yeah, GG. That was a really long game, but mine persevered and took the game out. So our last game